Nice to see you, fellas. And you probably noticed that I have something rather massive sitting in front of me.
Look at that.
The new iPad Pro. Oh, wait.
It really, you know, it's so funny. This is the Surface Studio, which came on Monday. And it's hard not to love this. It is like an iPad, a giant iPad, 28-inch iPad. Even for me, and I'm not an artist, this kind of 20-degree angle and just doing this stuff is really comfortable and natural and fun.
Nice.
I'm really happy with it. The knob, the dial, is useful. I can use it to scroll. I need more dial apps, obviously, and those will be forthcoming. I can change it from scroll to sound, like a volume knob, to zoom, or to undo. That's kind of the default. Once you pair it, you have to pair it. It's kind of interesting. This has just a little magnetic bottom on it. It's very easy to pull off, and there's the pairing button. 2 AA batteries. The knob is a little bit of a gimmick, but then I put an artist, Svetlana, Patrick Delahanty's wife, who's a children's book artist, down to draw, and I gave her the pen in one hand and as Microsoft said, the undo in the other, or the palette, and it came very naturally. It is a very natural way to work. So I think the dial is really interesting. I kind of feel like it is. There's a lot of potential in this, and
I think the dial makes the pen make sense for people who draw or paint. Right?
It does, and even just for now, if you buy a Surface, and the dial is an extra $100, so that you probably should play with it before you decide whether you need it or not. But I came with mine, and I'm kind of glad. I mean, I really like it. It's really, really cool. I have OneNote here. I have a browser here. The pinch and zoom is really natural, and for what I'm using it for, which is showing stuff on the screen, it couldn't be better. I mean, it really is. It's really incredible. So, but I'll tell you the negatives on this, which is this is very expensive for what you get, and this is the base level. Surface Studio, which is $3,000, and it's underpowered. I hate to say it, but when I'll launch up Lightroom, and we'll go from picture to picture, and there's a palpable, more than palpable,
a
significant
I don't understand,
delay.
Right. It's I think many people have said this. You're basically paying for the screen.
Yeah, that's
the rest
clear.
Of it is,
That's clear. Yeah. If I'm in the unzoomed mode, I can go pretty quickly. But the minute I go full screen, which you're often going to do, and now I press the arrow key to go to the next picture: 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005.
Yikes.
5 seconds between pictures.
Yikes.
It's unusable.
Yeah.
At least in full screen mode. Now that may be a flaw in Lightroom, and because it's interesting, it's much snappier. Although notice it has to load the high res. These are 30 megapixel images. So part of it is it has 8 gigs of RAM. It's an i5 processor, and it's a hybrid drive. It's one of those Intel hybrids with a 64 gig SSD and a terabyte spinning drive, which I think could make it a lot faster. But then, so I'm looking, and I came within inches of buying another one for home, but I thought, well, I'll get the top of the line, which is the i7 32 gigs. It's $4,200.
Yikes! Most vehicles I've purchased have not cost that much.
Yeah. Now I have to say, it gave me some. There's some things I thought about. If the real problem is, if you look under it, it is this whole computer is in this little tiny. Really less than laptop sized, almost Nux sized base.
Mac Mini sized.
Yeah, it's a little bigger. That's a Mac Mini, so it's about 4 inches bigger. But they've jammed it all in there. And by the way, that's why, for instance, it has a mobile GPU, not a desktop GPU. Right. So what I would love Microsoft to do, and Chris Capicella, I know you're listening, I would spend $2,000 on this screen and base alone.
Yep.
Let me hook up my own computer to it.
Everybody's asking for that.
Are they?
So far,
I would pay $1,000 for that screen without touch.
Yeah.
I just want a 3x2 4K display.
It's 4K, it's P3, it's full color gamut as well as sRGB. It's beautiful and very usable, and you would want touch. Trust me, Paul. I mean, you really would want touch. But what I also want, oops, that's not it. Let me go this there. What I also want is a faster CPU. And now it's fine.
Yeah.
This is kind of fine for just kind of, but for $3,000, it should be more than fine for casual use.
It's very specifically designed for creators. Who else would spend $3,000 to $4,000?
Well,
on
you
a
saw
computer?
the problem right away when I went to Lightroom.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
a photographer is going to say, I can't use this, frankly. 5 seconds between shots, I can't use this. Although they sure look great, don't they, in full screen?
Yep.
I mean, but the sluggishness of the UI, but look at that. I mean, that's stunning. And I can, you know, but you see how slow it is zooming in. I mean, it's not, I can barely drag it around, you know. Some of my employees really need to work on their respect. I'm just saying.
Yep.
That's our Christmas. No, this is the funny face version. Oh, I love it. Well, but so we took these pictures yesterday for our Christmas card, and I fired it up in Lightroom hoping to do some editing, and no, you know, I put it on a different computer for that because too slow, unusable. That's not good for a $3,000 computer.
Yep.
On the other hand, I don't care because I love it so damn much. This thing is, and in every respect, this is their first desktop. This is a home run. So they say they won't sell the Pixel Sense display by itself.
Yep. So far, that's what they're saying.
Yep.
I think that's a huge error. Maybe because it would be 3,000. Maybe it's like it would. Well, this is 3,000 with the i5 8 gigs and 2 gigs. 1 terabyte drive. So what's that worth? $600, $700? So maybe they're saying, look, it's a $2,500 display. We can't. But I would buy it and put it on a really. Imagine if this were connected to a super fast computer. It's 40.
I wonder if there's some reason they can't do it.
I think it's just the cost. I think the screen is so expensive. It's possible by, next year those component prices come down or something, and they can put a real computer. They'll do a performance-based version or something, right? That has quad-core processors and better GPUs.
It needs a better GPU, as you can see. When you're driving this many pixels, it's just too much.
Yep.
This is, the top of the line is the 980M M part, the GeForce, and or is that this one? What did I get in here? I guess it is a 980M. Oh no, that's the top of the line. I have a 965M. So that's just not enough, apparently, to do it. Hello works, but then the funny thing about Hello is it doesn't work at this angle unless you loom over it. So what I do is when I first log in, I go like this, hello, and then I put it back down.
Oh, boy. I don't know why they don't embrace fingerprint readers on the Surface stuff.
This would be really a nice place to put it.
I know there's one
But
keyboard,
look at how easy this is. Look at how nice this is. This
you can put it at a partial angle and it'll just stay there, right?
Yes.
It doesn't have to be 20 or
No, you get to pick the angle you want. I mean,
that's what I thought. Yeah.
It's very comfortable. In fact, we need to do that because of light. We have overhead lights. Unlike most, real users, we have lights over our screen. Right. So if if I angle it wrong, you can see my studio lights. So I angle it just so, and yes, it's totally usable at that odd angle. So anyway, just my mini review. I'll have more. We're actually ordering the Acer. Acer makes a similar product. And we're going to have a head-to-head with a Acer that's about a third the price. But you won't get this screen. This screen is amazing. This thing is incredible. All I want.
They seem to have a problem with these screens at volume. Surface Hub is the same thing. Yeah. It's amazing when you see it, but you can't see it because no one can buy one. They're just not available.
Well, I feel very fortunate to have this.
Yeah.
It's for what I'm going to use it for, which is in the studio sitting. This is a dream, and it looks good. I think it looks good on camera. It's like, you don't see it in this shot, but
it's a very professional-looking device.
It looks like you got something going on. Somebody commented when I first used it, you seemed kind of distracted. I was. I think I'll get used to it. Maybe I'll get used to it. Very impressive. So nice. I'm sorry you guys don't have one, but I felt lucky. I just ordered it when we were on. Remember, I was on the show.
You got it in the first wave.
You got it right away. Yeah, you did.
I did. To get it on Monday. Wow.
I think they heard it was your birthday.
It was. It was my birthday present to myself.
I think they heard this.
But, you know, and I know all the reviewers echo my sentiments. It's just an underpowered machine in here. Mm-hmm. Fine for, you know, surfing.
You know, we mentioned that this a couple weeks ago, I think, that when they were building this, it was 3 years ago.
Right.
And so they spec'd it out to kind of what was the best thing at that time. And then when they shipped it,
that excuse is crazy, though. I mean,
it's crazy.
You're designing a new computer, and your excuse is that it's 3-year-old specs because that's when we designed it.
That's what they claim, but that's crazy. I know. And then I wonder if next year, you know, we keep hearing there's going to be a big hardware refresh for everything. Mm-hmm. I wonder if they'll refresh this too.
I think they will. Well, look at what they did in Surface Book. Seriously, you know, with the performance space. I mean, you could imagine a similar style upgrade for this thing. You know, lower prices because components will come down. I bet the thing that they were speccing that they couldn't do 3 years ago was the screen. You know, because you're going to throw in whatever the Surface Book style components are at the time. Mm-hmm. But it's just, it's too bad. It's surprising it's not a desktop.
Mm-hmm. What I decided to do is, I think they'll do the same thing they did with this. They did with the Surface Book. You know, they've revved the Surface Book to make it more performance. Yeah. I bet you they'll rev this. So I'm going to wait to the rev. I came this close to buying another one for home to replace, by the way, an iMac. And Apple should absolutely be looking in the rearview mirror on this one. Mm. This is spectacular, and it completely disproves Apple's contention that no one would want touch on a desktop computer. Wrong.
Right.
Couldn't be more wrong.
I still am. I'm in the no touch camp still, but
you got to try this, Mary. But see, you're right. As a writer, you don't.
I know. As a writer, I don't.
You don't need it.
I don't.
You don't need it.
And I understand why other people want it and need it and like it, but I'll tell you, I don't miss touch on the HP Spectre.
Yeah. Well, I don't either.
I wouldn't. I don't care about using touch on that product that Leo has. What I do care about is the display of that size and quality, and that aspect ratio. And a non-touch version of that, which should only cost about $1,000, I think, or maybe a little bit more, would be an incredible purchase. I've been asking for this for years. You know, Microsoft makes these 3x2 displays. They're really high resolution, and so when you go to a different display, it screws up all the aspect ratio or the scaling on the screen. If they just supported one that you could use the same scale across the two screens, it would be perfect.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they don't just do that. Mm-hmm. So this is neat, but it's, you know, this is the device that targets the 0.5%.
Right. Mm-hmm. So this is the drawing Svet did on here, which is beautiful.
It is amazing. Yeah.
She played with it. This is Photoshop. Mm-hmm. So let's do File, New. And the pen solves that touch target issue, right? So I feel like that's not, you know, these are, I mean, because this is a desktop app, so, you know, all of this stuff is little tiny stuff, and you could...
that can scale, actually, Leo.
Can it make it bigger? Okay.
Yeah. I thought it would be enabled by default, but there's I don't even know. I don't use CC, so I don't know where it is, but you can scale that for the high detail.
All right. And we know that Adobe is going to absolutely modify this to...
And they're testing a universal Windows platform app right now as well. That probably targets this kind of product.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Mm-hmm.
It's just very natural. And then the undo. You know, I don't know. Maybe this does not work with it. I thought she was. Oh yeah, she does. So now I can, if I set this to undo, and I do a few things, you turn the knob. And it goes back through history.
Yeah, I think they call it instant replay or something like that.
It's very much like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a scrubber for the stuff you've done.
Yeah. That really is really cool. Really cool. So it's funny because, you know, the touch bar on the MacBook Pro I've kind of rejected as a gimmick. It just doesn't help me. This dial, which potentially is also a gimmick, I can really see how it gives you a two-handed use.
Exactly. I think, and that's the thing. It's Mary Jo and I, we don't really need that. But for people like you using this with a pen, drawing, painting, whatever, the ability to, select different brush styles or colors or whatever, like with one hand, and you don't move the pen from where you're working. I think it's going to enable a whole new style of working. I think it's pretty amazing.
Bravo, Microsoft. Bravo. Let me see if I can do this with Svets. No, she saved it.
Yeah.
I was going to see if I could undo.
It's probably not like the PSD file or whatever.
Yeah. Well, no, she did it on here, but she saved it.
No, I know, but the version
I don't have any history on here, so I can't scroll through the history. But boy, this is nice. And I given what I do, I probably I don't think the lack of power. I wouldn't. I'm not going to use it as a Lightroom computer, for sure. Which I'd like to. This would be a photographer's dream.
Because that should be the point of this device.
Right.
Yeah. You can kind of do stuff.
Oh boy, that's the how we used to describe netbooks, Leo.
Yeah. It's funny. It's clearly GPU bound. I think that's pretty. But gosh, touch in Lightroom, full Lightroom. And Adobe's moving to, a touch first interface on iPad, and I imagine on Surface as well. But even with the grown-up, not touch Lightroom, this is a very natural way to work. To do the sliders with your fingers and you can do regions.
Not
and
touch
stuff.
Those tiny little things with your hand.
Well, you can though. They're a little small, but you can, and it's very intuitive. It kind of is a very natural way to do it. Even stuff like this, cropping. It's just kind of a natural. I think a photographer could get very used to that, and to pinch and zoom so you can do regional edits and things. That's pretty cool. Great for pixel peeping. And this is fast enough, right? This doesn't feel slow. It's for some reason.
But maybe
it's
the size of the image.
Yeah, it's for some reason. It's only when I go. Well, these are 30 meg images. These are taken with my Canon 5D Mark IV, 30 megapixel images. It's just slow. That's the only thing is in full screen. It really feels slow. Maybe that's just that. I don't know. All right. I didn't mean to hijack the show, but I thought you would be.
This is incredibly relevant. It's fine.
It is.
Wow, this is great.
Yeah.
And it's enough for me to overcome my natural kind of reluctance to use Windows. And I think a lot of creatives go, well, no, I'm a Mac guy. Sure. I think the same thing will happen, especially if you're in Creative Cloud or you're using an app that you're comfortable with. Windows isn't. This doesn't feel like a Windows machine. This feels like a tablet. It's pretty awesome. Anyway, I'm sorry. There you go. There's my my unbiased, completely emotional take on the Surface Studio.